Hello boys and girls. I just wanted to make a quick review math video for you of everything that you were practicing last week, everything you've learned so far, in case you need a little extra practice or reminder before moving on to learning about fractions on a number line this week. The first thing that's important to note is that if the whole is not the same size, then you can't really compare the sizes of the fractions. Here is a larger red circle and a smaller circle. You might want to think of this in terms of a pizza. One's an extra large, one's a small. If I divide both of these wholes into fourths, this is what that looks like. I'm just going to disconnect these pieces so that you can see. If I eat 1/4 of pizza from this pizza, and you eat 1/4 of pizza from this one, did we eat the same amount? We both ate a fourth, but they're not actually the same size. So when comparing fractions, you want to make sure the whole is the same size. If you think back to the At the Box office, there were two different size theaters that the manager was trying to compare. But in reality, he really couldn't compare them as simple as he wanted to because the whole, or the size of each theater, was not the same. The next thing I want to review is the greater the denominator. Again, the denominator is the number that's down on the bottom of the fraction. The greater the denominator, the smaller that fraction piece is going to be. All of these I have labeled for you are unit fractions. A unit fraction is when you only have one. See how this one is disconnected? When you have one out of the three pieces, one out of the whole shares. So there's a 1 in the numerator spot, or the top fraction spot in each of them. As you can see, 1/3 is smaller than 1/2, even though 3 is greater than 2. Again, say it with me. The greater the denominator, the smaller the fraction share. Let's look at 1/10. 10 is a large number, but it's much smaller of a fraction piece than 1/2 is. The thing you want to keep in mind when you're doing any type of math is that you should always use the math tools that are available to you, just like you would in the classroom. All of your fraction circle pieces are available on ConnectEd. You're also receiving this week a sheet that you can print out and use for fraction bars. These are easiest used for the fraction number lines that you'll be working with this week. But whether you choose to use the fraction bars or the fraction circles, please make sure that you're modeling and showing your work and really using that to think out and compare things. Don't just answer things. You're smarter than that, you're better than that, and you know how to use these tools. The thing you should feel comfortable doing is comparing fractions using the greater than, less than, or equal to symbol. Again, when you are doing this, you want to assume that the size of the whole is the same. So here's a whole for 2/3, and here's a whole for 5/8. I want to actually model this out instead of just guessing. So we're going to just get the pieces. I need 2 of my orange pieces for 2/3. So here's 2/3, and those are 4s, 5, 6, I believe the blue is the 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I can take my blue and my red, and I can try to overlap them to see. I'm going to try to put my blue on top because it's a little hard. I'm noticing that 2/3 is just a little bit greater in size than my 5/8. So in that case, I would put the greater than symbol inside my box. Compare 1/4 to 2/8. Again, I'm going to need 1/4 piece, and then I'm going to need 2 of my eighths pieces. I'm just going to put them together. If I bring them and compare them by overlapping them, I can see that the 2/8 completely overlaps with the yellow 1/4 piece, and there's no overhang of any color. That tells me that 1/4 is equal to 2/8. See how using our tools is making this a lot easier? Example. 3/4 is what to 2/5? Here are my 3/4, here are my 2/5. Once again, I'm going to overlap them so we can see. We can see the yellow is much larger, so 3/4 is greater than 2/5. I hope that this helps you to remember that you can only compare fractions when the whole is the same size. The greater the denominator, the smaller that unit fraction is. And using your math tools, whether they're the fraction bars or the fraction circles, can really help you to visualize and compare these fractions. Hope that helps. Bye.